What's up, y'all? What's going on? Welcome to the Forward Empowerment Summit. Listen, I'm excited. I hope you are excited too, as excited as I am. If I was on the stage, I'd be jumping up and down right now because I'm so amped. I have been looking forward to this day since God dropped it in my spirit to do this, and I'm so grateful to see each and every one of y'all here right now, to see each and every one of you who is tuning in. I see you logging in. Yes, I see you logging in. I see you. Facebook Live. I see you on YouTube, every platform that is streaming from. So listen, if you did not start a watch party, go ahead and start a watch party. All right? Because you are going to be motivated tonight. I promise you. You are going to be inspired tonight. I promise you. You are going to be encouraged tonight. I promise you. This is going to be a night of empowerment. So whatever doubts you were thinking about that you have, whatever fears you have, whatever's holding you back from being your best self tonight, that all goes away. So wave bye-bye to it right now. Say peace, deuces, adios, see you later. Whatever it is that you say to your thing that holds you captive, go ahead and say it. Because tonight there are 3 speakers who will hit the stage, and we're going to help you push those things aside. All right. So listen, I know it's virtual, but we are still going to be interactive. We are going to talk to you, and we want you to talk back to us. Okay. So in the comments, go ahead and make sure you're putting your comment down there. Oh, that was good. Oh, he said that. Oh, she better go ahead. Or whatever it is that you want to say, make sure you drop that in the comment, because we're going to see it. It is going to pop up on the screen so that we know what it is you were saying. For instance, if you're like, yo, he said that, boom, it's going to pop up right there. Right there. I don't know how you see it, but you see it at the bottom. It is going to be there. We got a couple people already. You know, I'm ready. Levon Butler is ready. The Passion Strategist is so excited. All right. We all are already seeing you, coach. Loving this energy. Let's go. All right. I'm amped. This is awesome. Fantastic. So again, I thank each and every one of you who are here right now. This is going to be an awesome night filled with empowerment. We have our coaches backstage. We have our speakers backstage. They are ready to talk to you. So again, remember, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to start those watch parties. If you have a question, go ahead and ask the question. We won't answer the question until the end. However, at the end, we will pop it up on screen and we'll answer it. If it's for a particular speaker, you can go ahead and type that speaker's name in so that that speaker can see the question that you have specifically for them. I see you logging on. I see y'all still logging in. Yes, call your friends, send them the YouTube link, call your friends and send them to the Facebook pages, because we are here. We are ready. And in a moment, we are going to begin to move forward, y'all. We're not going backwards. We're going forward. You, me, all of us forward. So I'm going to get ready to introduce our first speaker of the evening. She's going to come. She's going to set the tone. She's worked in the Michigan State Legislature as a legislative coordinator. She is a human resources professional for large organizations such as Comcast, the School District of Philadelphia. She recently joined the City of Detroit as a test development unit and human resources professional. She is a senior human resource certified professional, as well as a diversity, equity, and inclusion certified professional. And she also holds a master's degree in organizational development and leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, she is here. She is ready to inspire. She is going to take the stage. She is the owner and CEO of the Savage Growth Mindset. Her name, life coach, Portia Dion. Edwards. Let's get savage, y'all.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much, Terry, for that wonderful introduction. And I want to thank everyone that is joining us live, whether you are on YouTube, Facebook, or here on this platform. We want to thank you for joining us this evening. So, what I am going to talk to you about this evening is your growth. We're going to talk about growth for about 15 minutes. Growth is a process, and we're going to talk about a growth mindset and how that is a game changer for you in moving forward. So, I want to ask you a question. What is your appetite? All right, start thinking about that question as I am pulling up my screen for you so that we can get started. Sorry about that, Terry. Should have had that lined up, but I am ready to go. I'm presenting. All right. So, what we're going to talk about is a savage growth mindset. Okay. What that means is that it is a constant ability for you to use your mind. And think about it this way: when you think about your intuition, where do you feel that? Where do you feel the intuition in your body? Some of you might be saying you feel it in your gut, you feel it in your stomach, or you might feel it in your chest, right? But I want you to now think about this invisible cord that goes from that intuition to our mind and what triggers us to start planning and moving forward. And how do we do that without being stuck? And how do we do that in the moment? And how do we do that when we are faced against unprecedented challenges, and one being the pandemic? The life throws many things at us. We lose our friends, loved ones, we change our careers, we move, but we are always moving forward. So I'm going to talk about the savage growth mindset this evening. Terry did go over some things about who I am. As he stated, I am the founder and CEO of Savage Growth Mindset. I am a Savage coach, and I developed the Savage Growth Mindset model, which I'm going to share with you this evening. I'm just going to quickly go over the things that Terry mentioned. Again, Michigan State Legislature. I have about 15 years in human resources, currently with the city of Detroit as a test development scoring specialist in that division, work for the School District of Philadelphia. I am a SHRM certified professional with a master's in organizational development leadership, born and raised in Flint, Michigan. I am a proud Michigan State Spartan and a member of Sigma Gamma Rho, but more importantly, I am very passionate about helping others achieve and pursue their purpose and their goals. So, what is savage growth mindset again? What it is in simplest terms, it is your goal plus the results. Okay. So, again, here's that question: what is your appetite for growth and consistency? All right. Applying pressure in this arena, it requires grit. And that's what the savage mindset model can do for you. And it's going to help you drill down to the difference between who you are and what you are. Okay. So, just to kind of go through some other things before we get into the nitty gritty, I'm going to give you an opportunity to grab a pencil, paper, so that you can take notes. What I am going to do is I'm going to go over the entire Savage model with you this evening, and then we're going to get into a little bit of a micro intervention with one of the aspects of the model so that we can get you thinking about your Savage mindset. So, let's see. Make sure everybody is here and we are ready. Okay, so let's talk about growth again. Let's talk about fitness and the aspect of fitness, right? For those that are in the fitness community, we understand the importance of having a strong core, right? Your core is what's going to help you endure. If you have a weak core, then your workouts are going to be fruitless in the end. So you have to have a strong core. Your core is also that tool, that aspect of your body that gives you balance. And so that's what I want you to think about when we're going through this SAVAGE model and we're thinking about each of these attributes in the SAVAGE model. I do also want to note that growth requires investment, right? And I'm not talking about the investment of a monetary transaction. You can pay a coach $50, $100, whatever the dollar amount is. You can pay a coach to provide you services. All right. But if you are not putting in the work, you're doing yourself a disservice. So let's get right into the SAVAGE model. And we're talking about our growth here. And what is your appetite for it? So the first attribute in my SAVAGE model is called self-determination. What we want to know is, and what you want to understand is, what is your motivation? One thing about motivation is that it is multidimensional, meaning it can come from an external source, it could be introjected, it could be identified, it could be intrinsic, and it can be many other things. But when you are able to identify exactly what is motivating you and where it's coming from, then you'll be that much more better to know whether or not it's enough to get you through. Okay, so think about that. What is the source of your motivation and exactly where is it coming from? We're going to get into a little bit of this later on, as I said, with a little micro intervention. So get ready for that. Also note that our determination is sometimes what motivates us is that it could be an event. It could be something that happens in our lives that triggers us to move on to the next chapter, the next phase in our life. Sometimes we are standing stuck and stagnant, but we're not sure on where to go and what's that next step to achieve whatever our outcomes are. So that is self-determination. The second attribute in the SAVAGE model is acceptance. All right. I love this attribute. It's beautiful to me because it is accepting who you are inside and out without protest. It's understanding your situation and accepting all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. And acceptance is a commitment to love ourselves, right? And respect ourselves. So we're getting real when we're talking about acceptance. When you're working within the SAVAGE mindset model, you are fully accepting yourself and you're taking all the steps to achieve the goal. And you're asking yourself, why or why not? Is this really for me? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself when you are working within the acceptance attribute. And you really want to look at what feelings are motivating you and why. Okay. Those are some things that you get into when you're looking at acceptance within the SAVAGE model. The third attribute in this model is vision. Another beautiful attribute here where we're talking about being your own visionary, right? Let's talk about that a little bit more. When you get a vision, that is a planted seed in your mind, right? In your mind. Now, are you set? Are you ready to move on that? You may not be. But you need to start thinking about that seed that was planted in you. That's a goal. It's a benchmark in which you want to achieve. How adaptive is that to your goals and strategies that are being set? Are you really being your own visionary? How realistic are your goals? Does your vision or your plan incorporate feedback? And if it does, from where? It's very important to know when you're thinking about your vision. It's also very important and tricky. It's a fine line on who you share your vision with. I'm sure you've heard that before. There is a lot of truth to that. So when you're planning on being your own visionary, this it's very connected to your mindset because that is a seed that was planted there. Go on to the fourth attribute here is authenticity, right? What makes you authentic, right? And what makes you authentic to your personal values? What are your personal values, right? Focus on your authenticity, whatever that is. All right. You are beautiful. You are one of one. Know that. You're going to move your focus from the how of the goal to the why of the goal. All right. And is it authentic to you? Are you able to be your authentic self and be productive? Okay. This is something that we work on where we're working through the Savage model when it relates to your authenticity. The fifth aspect of this model is our goals. All right. Are you planning specific, actionable goals to accomplish? All right. There's a workshop that I do sometimes as well with participants. It's an evening to pour yourself a glass of wine, maybe dust off those old vision boards, right? And actually start getting our hands into the meat of what these goals are, what they mean, and what is the trajectory of them. Okay, we're paying direct attention to the task at hand. Okay, and away from distractions. We're energizing our effort, and we're our own hype man. Okay. One thing about goals here, here's another tip that I like to exercise with goals is affirmations, words of affirmations. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a big words of affirmation person, but what I do is I have affirmation playlist. Okay. Um, so if you're not someone that likes to get in the mirror and do the mirror work and recite affirmations out loud, another way to do that is to create yourself affirmation playlist that gets you pumped and gets you motivated to achieve those goals. The last attribute of the Savage model is your environment. I cannot stress enough how much your environment will eat your plans and goals for breakfast. Okay. So your environment is detrimental to your success. So something that I like to do in this arena is a SWOT analysis. Now I am a business major, so this is a dynamic that is pulled from that area, accounting and things of that nature, marketing, is to do a SWOT analysis and do a SWOT analysis on your environment. Is your environment conducive to your success? If it is not, you must do whatever necessary to change that course, to change the environment. Because if you don't, you will not move forward as you intend to. You may run into challenges. You're going to run into threats. You're going to miss those opportunities. You're not going to acknowledge and recognize the strengths that you have within you. Okay, so it's important to do a SWOT analysis on your environment within the Savage model. So, as I stated earlier, I want to do a little bit of something with you with regards to self-determination. And self-determination, as I stated, is multidimensional, and it comes from very, very many different aspects of our lives. So, what I want you to do is on your notes that you're taking, I would like you to write down two of your previous goals, that you achieved. Okay. Doesn't matter what they are, but two previous goals that you achieved. And then I'd like you to write down a third goal. And a third goal will be a goal in which you wish to achieve in the near future. Okay. So with that, with those three goals, what I'd like you to do, and you can do it now if you have time, but you can do it this evening after the program. What I want you to do is look at what this multidimensional chart is when it comes to motivation and where it comes from. Is it controlled? Is it autonomous? As you can see, there are several layers to your motivation. And it's important to know exactly where it comes from. So when you're looking at that first goal, a previous goal, look at how that goal came about, right? Where did it come from? Where did that seed come from? Was it external? Was it somewhat external, internal? Decide on exactly where it's coming from. All right. And how that relates to how you achieve that goal. Did you struggle? Did you run into challenges? Did your cup run empty? because you weren't motivated, right? And if your motivation is unbalanced, that's something else to look at. So if all of your eggs are in one bucket, right? It's not a good scenario. So you want to be even with your motivation, because if one falls or if one doesn't come through, because it's an external, right? If it's all external and those things aren't there to prop you, right? Where else is that motivation coming from to get you through? Okay. So that's what this little exercise is for you this evening, when it comes to the Savage model and thinking about self-determination. Self-determination is hyphenated for a reason, because you have to deal with the self. You have to deal with the self, and then you can analyze the determination. And that's exactly where that motivation is coming from. So I want to thank you for your time this evening. It's been really great to share with you this Savage Growth Mindset model. I would love to work with you if you are interested. I am revamping our services for Savage Growth Mindset. Do see the link here to register for SGM content. Be the first to receive exclusive resources, as well as our launch information. So you can reach me and you can follow me on Instagram. That is my handle in the on screen there that you see. And I'm also on Twitter and Clubhouse, which is not listed here. But I look forward to seeing you out there, and I look forward to the growth that you all have set for yourself. Know that growth is an investment. Know that growth and underinvestment is a trap where investing does not seem necessary because all is well at the moment. So not investing today, however, might lead to a lost opportunity for growth in the future because of lack of skills or capacity. So what this is saying is that you need to invest in your mindset now, and it needs to be a growth mindset. And when you take those 6 attributes of the Savage Growth Mindset model, you will get far. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.
Yeah. Portia Edwards, ladies and gentlemen, let her hear it. Virtually, let her hear it. Let her hear it. Let her hear it, y'all. Awesome job, Portia. Awesome job.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you.
Yeah, y'all. So that was Portia Dion Edwards with the Savage Growth Mindset. I hope that y'all enjoyed that. Hope it gave y'all a little bit of what y'all needed. And I hope y'all are ready to continue in the process of getting these gems and having so much fun. I don't know about you, but I was backstage taking notes, having fun. She said, your core is what's going to help you endure. I don't know about you, but I like it when, they throw the rhyme or the poetry or what have you in there. But it's true. And growth requires investment. And it, like she said, is not always about money, but it requires some kind of investment, time. It requires some kind of sacrifice away from your spouse or away from your children or away from your TV set. I know we all got those. I probably sounded mad old talking about TV set, but y'all know what I mean. And we did have some applauses in the audiences. We appreciate y'all. Keep them coming. We thank y'all. We thank y'all. And now it's time for us to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker, he is a friend. I met him when we were both active duty Air Force. A lot of people don't even know that I am/was a member of the United States Air Force, but absolutely is true. Henry is a man of faith who, as an inspirational leader and active father, a valuable member of his society in which he mentors, shapes, and motivates those around him to grow and change in order to meet higher levels of one's own potential. The thing about Henry is he is not only a role model. He is not only a child of God, which makes it known from the moment. If you know nothing about Henry, within the first 30 seconds of meeting Henry, you will know that he is God-fearing. You will know that he is a man of faith, and you will know that he don't play about his kids. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor, my privilege to introduce to some and present to others none other than United States Air Force Second Lieutenant Henry Edwards III.
Hey, oh man, what an amazing intro, my brother Terry Glenn Harris. I appreciate it. To everyone out there that is tuned in right now, I just appreciate you guys wanting to grow, tuning in for this positive mindset, this forward summit. It's just amazing. I got to give a huge shout out to my brother Terry Glenn Harris for just being here for this opportunity. Miss Portia Edwards, my long lost cousin that I didn't even know I had. That was amazing. A savage mindset. It's just awesome to be in the presence of greatness here. And it's so refreshing that old Bible verse that iron sharpens iron. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here today. So with that, Portia talked about just that savage mindset, right? With my time today, I want to talk to you guys about work-life balance, especially coming out of a pandemic, right? Coming out of coronavirus, where going into it, none of us were prepared for this. This is something that we didn't see coming. A lot of us started to work from home. We were quarantined. We weren't really prepared for what life threw at us. We weren't prepared to start working from home. We weren't prepared to start teaching our kids. We weren't prepared for some of us to not even have jobs anymore. So the coronavirus pandemic threw us for a loop. It had a lot of challenges. But today I also want to cover how to change your perspective and turn those challenges into victories, turn those challenges into wins. Because I believe that through the challenges, the coronavirus also gave us an opportunity. As Terry mentioned, I serve in the Air Force. And whether you're serving in the military or you work for any type of business organization, usually those organizations have some type of core value. Portia was talking about your core and how everything is centered around your core, right? Family, and when I say family, I'm talking about your circle, your core. It doesn't necessarily have to be your blood relatives, your mom, your spouse, your kids, okay? Whatever your circle is your core. Why is it that we'll go to work and they have core values, what their center is, but then for your own family, you don't have one? So I got this idea from a movie actually called The Best Man Holiday. You may have seen it. Morris Chestnut, Taye Diggs, okay? You may have seen it or not, but just a quick synopsis on it. There's a famous football player and one of his friends, and they've had a very interesting relationship, to say the least. But one of his friends, the famous football player, is about to retire from playing football. And his other friend is an author, and he's trying to write a book on him. And he asked him to describe his career in 3 words. And when he asked him this, I started thinking, what's my own family's core? What's our center? What's our chi, if you will, right? And I came up with this: faith, family, and flexibility. So now I have a center in which I can raise my sons off of. I have a center in which I can start everything from. And that's essentially what the coronavirus did for me. It gave me the opportunity to put things into perspective. It was more than just challenges, okay? It actually gave us the opportunity to put things into perspective. With work-life balance, things need to be proportionate. Let's take a look at the definition of balance, okay? The definition of balance says it's a condition in which different elements are equal or in the correct position. Now, a lot of us think of balance as like 50-50. For instance, this pen, we think if it's holding straight, then that means that it's perfectly balanced. But life doesn't work like that. And the coronavirus specifically showed us that life happens. Okay. We need to look at the second part of that definition in the correct proportions, meaning at different stages in life, we need to be able to spend more time at work or spend more time with family. Now, I'm going to park here with the balances for just a little while because I need to make sure that you understand it's not a 50-50 thing. There's going to be times where maybe we need to spend more time at work. And then after we got out of that season of life, we need to recoup that time with our family, make sure we're spending time with them. Why is balancing important? Balance is important because you need proper order. Family is the most important thing. That should be your core right there. We spend so many countless hours at work, and the coronavirus showed us that we can actually work from home. We can actually have a full summit at home and oftentimes be more effective than we were spending 40 plus hours in the office. So in a sense, we were cheating ourselves. We were cheating our family from the time where we should have been actually spending with them. Because at the end of the day, that 9-to-5 job or whatever career that you're in, they're already training your replacement. You can't be replaced at home. I was reading this book called When Work and Family Collide by Andy Stanley. And he talks about this word that kind of has a negative connotation. It's called cheating. Now, when people hear cheating, they're like, oh, I'm not a cheater. But I'm actually willing to bet that everybody has cheated in something in their life, whether it's a card game, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's cheating on your taxes. If that's you, don't put nothing in the comments. Just keep that one to yourself. But we all cheat at something. For the purposes of this, you're either probably cheating at work or you're cheating your family out of time. So let's just change what the normal perspective that you think cheating is. The definition I want to run with is this. Cheating is choosing to give up one thing in hope of gaining something else of greater value. I'm going to say that again. Cheating is choosing to give up one thing in hope of gaining something else of greater value. In essence, that means that if you're spending all your time at work, you're cheating your family from being present. If you're spending all your time with your family, you're not being productive at work, and work should be a tool in which we're able to support our family, not the other way around. Cheating is simply making sure that you're establishing your priorities correctly. Remember earlier when we were talking about your core values, for myself, faith, family, and flexibility. That's my center. That's my core. That means that my priorities should look like that. That means that I should be able to spend that 80-20, as someone in the chat put there, spend that 80% with what's important to you, with who's going to actually be there. So don't look at cheating as a negative thing. Look at cheating as just establishing your priorities to make sure that you're reaching those goals. That's all that it is. So I know this sounds good, but how do we actually apply this? How do we actually get to that point? We're coming out of quarantine. The mask mandates are going away. People are starting to travel more. Life is getting back to a somewhat normal or our new normal. So how do we actually implement this new work-life balance as we're going back to work? Or maybe some of you are even continuing to telework. I'm gonna give you guys 3 quick points and I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna let my brother Terry Glenn Harris come back to the stage. And it's real simple strategy to make this happen. First point is this: make up your mind. Just make that choice. Decide that you have to do better. Decide that if you have kids, that you're going to be there for their sporting events. Decide that if you have a spouse, that you're going to be there for date night. Decide that if you're single, that you're going to focus on you, that you're going to have that savage mindset that Portia was talking about. Make up your mind. It says it right there on the screen. Make up your mind. Make that choice to make that first step. That's point 1. Point 2, come up with a plan. You have to come up with a plan in order to execute this new schedule. You can't just go to work and tell your supervisor, tell your boss that, hey, my family needs me, I'm out. Come up with a strategic plan. That plan could look something like this. If you work 9 to 5, if you're working 9 to 5, maybe you're leaving at 5 o'clock every day. So sit down with your supervisor, sit down with your loved ones who this is actually affecting, and come up with that plan of what that schedule looks like. Maybe Thursdays are your meeting days, so you need to stay maybe 30 minutes later or come in 30 minutes earlier. Set an alarm. If you're leaving at 5 o'clock every day, if that's the end of your workday at 5 o'clock, set an alarm for 4:50 to go ahead and call that last client, to go ahead and send that last email, and then set a second alarm at 4:55 to make sure that you're starting to wrap up, you're shutting down your computer, and you're leaving out the door at 5. So point 1, make up your mind. Point 2, create a plan for a new schedule. And number 3, set up a test. You gotta set up a trial, right? We're creatures of habit. Maybe you do this for 3 weeks. Maybe you do this for a month straight. For a month straight, I'm gonna leave the office at 5 o'clock every day. Every day I'm leaving at 5. On Thursdays, I'm coming in 30 minutes earlier and I'm staying 30 minutes later. And you present your boss, if my work effort, if my work output slips, diminishes at any time during these 3 weeks or during this trial, during this test, then we can come back to the table and negotiate a way to make this work, to make sure that you're spending that proper time at home, but still getting your work done. It doesn't have to be a this has to work, but this doesn't. Everybody can win in this situation. You make a plan. You make up your mind, you make a plan, and then you come up with a trial and test. Because when it boils down to it, your family, whatever, all your relationships, that's what's important. That's what the coronavirus pandemic taught us. That's the opportunity that we have now. We have the opportunity to properly have work-life balance, to where it's 50-50, but no matter what season you're in, where you can spend a little more time at work in some seasons, but after you've got that work done, you can come back home and spend time there and water your seed at home. That's what's important. Man, I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Work on being balanced. Make that choice, make a plan, and set that trial. This isn't hard. It's just something that you have to do to take that step. And what better time than coming out of a pandemic to work on your growth mindset, your savage mindset, and to work on your work-life balance to make your family a better place, which ultimately is how we make the world a better place. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity. My brother, Terry Glenn Harris, I appreciate it. Miss Portia Edwards, it's been a pleasure to share this stage with you. Thank y'all so much.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for U.S. Air Force Second Lieutenant Henry Edwards III. Let him hear it, y'all. Let him hear it. Let him hear it. Let him hear it. You had some incredible things going on in the chat. You know, people loved about the steps, and you know, listen, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is, my man. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Henry Edwards III. What are you cheating on? What are you cheating on? Is it good cheat? Is it bad cheat? How is your work-life balance? Do you go to work at 9 and are you still there at 9? No, we not doing that no more. We not. We leaving. We getting up. We swiping out or punching out or phoning out or teepering out. Whatever it is that you do at work, when you punch in and you're intentional about punching in, make sure you're that intentional about punching out to go and do whatever it is that you need to do for you and your family. Henry, yes, I did see The Best Man Holiday about 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 times. I liked it, but I didn't. I liked it because it was a great storyline. I didn't like it because it made my eyeballs sweat too much. But it also made my stomach hurt with laughter. So it was absolutely a great time. Listen, I don't know about y'all. I see y'all here. I see y'all in the chat. I see y'all logging in on Facebook. I see y'all logging in on YouTube. Some of you are actually right here in the stream, and it's such a great time. I'm excited. And with that said, I guess it's my turn. I'm coming behind some awesome speakers, but I'm going to deliver just like they delivered. And I'm gonna do that in one moment. Let's just ride out, y'all. Yeah. Listen. So it said, you look good, babe. Thank you, wife. Appreciate you. No, but I'm excited. I'm ready. I pray that I am worthy. And I believe I am worthy. So that is what makes myself and Portia and Henry and you over there and you back there on your phone and you too. I see you. Listen, he needs to eat. Give him the mashed potatoes. Yes. I see all of y'all. Okay. It is fantastic. And again, I'm grateful. First, giving honor to my creator, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who has blessed me overly and abundantly to be here, and provided me with this vision for this here platform. I want to thank my beautiful, incredible, amazing, loving, sexy, gorgeous wife, whom I love so very much, so very dearly, and who played an intricate role in making this summit happen this evening. My beautiful children who are watching right now, Daddy loves you. My fellow speakers, Portia, Henry, who you just heard from, and you just heard them blaze a trail talking about the savage growth mindset, talking about having core values and principles for yourself and for your family, and not just for your 9 to 5, whatever your 9 to 5 might be. And then each and every one of you who are on right now, who has carved time out of your busy day to be here, because you could be doing anything with your time, but you decided that you are going to spend this time with us, and that is appreciated. So let's go. Every single one of us here attending this virtual summit has a desire. We have a desire to move. We have a desire to move in a progressive direction. No one wants to move forward. No one wants to move backwards. The only time we want to move backwards is when we're getting that parking space at the mall and we want to back in so that when it's time to leave, we can just pull right out. That's the only time we're trying to go backwards, is when we're parking. We want to be able to move in a progressive direction. I don't believe there's any one person who actually wants to stay stuck or wants to remain stagnant. Everyone wants to progress, and to be able to progress, to be able to get unstuck, to be able to get away from the stagnancy, we must be able to answer 3 simple questions. What are the questions, Terry? I'm so glad you asked that question. Question number 1. What's anchoring you? Question number 2. What's holding you back? Question number 3. What's keeping you from being able to be your absolute best self? So now I'm going to turn that around and we're going to say it to each other. I'm going to say, what's anchoring you, Terry? Just like you should be saying, what's anchoring you? What's holding you back? What's keeping you from moving and being your absolute best self? What's holding me back? What's anchoring me? What's keeping me from being my absolute best self? See, an anchor is something that is designed to hold one in one space, kind of like a ship. Whether you've seen a ship docked in person, whether you've seen one on social media or in a movie or what have you. You know a ship when it pulls up to the dock and the captain drops the anchor and the anchor goes down in the water. We don't see it going down, but we know it's going down. It goes down in the water, it hits the bottom, and that's it. The ship goes nowhere after that until the anchor comes back up. Now, someone has to command that anchor to come back up, but no matter how hard the wind blows, the ship does nothing but rocks left and right, rock forwards and backwards. It is not going out to sea until that anchor comes up.
Incoming.
That is the only time that is going to go out to sea, when that anchor comes up. All right. So we also got to remember that there's also the anchor that keeps us grounded, the anchor that keeps us humble. And that anchor is an important anchor, but we must know the difference between the two anchors, because some people will be like, you ain't all of that. That's that anchor at the bottom of the sea trying to keep you from going somewhere. But then there's that person that's like, I feel you, bro. You're doing good. I got you. However, let's remember some things. And they take you back to, like Henry said, your core values that maybe you got away from a little bit. So we got to know the difference. Now, being held back restricts one's progress. And being our best self requires some sort of sacrifice and discipline. So once more, I ask, what's anchoring you? What's holding you back? And what's keeping you from being your absolute best self? So now let's talk about that. We can absolutely rid ourselves of those anchors, of those things holding us back, of what seems to be keeping us from being the best version of ourselves. I don't know about you, but I want to be the absolutely best Terry that Terry can be. The Terry who is fearfully and wonderfully made. The Terry who is made in the image and likeness of God. And God ain't no punk. God, there's a reason he's the savior. And for you, for me to be made in his image and in his likeness, come on, how dare you not be your best self? How dare you? You come from greatness. You are royalty, regardless of the socioeconomic background you have or environment you live in. You can be. I don't care if you have a second grade education or a PhD. We can all be great, because greatness isn't something that we are taught to be. Greatness is something that we are born to be. Now, anyone who desires to move forward towards the accomplishment of a goal or a set of goals has one major requirement that they must fulfill. And I know we're here for a moment of motivation, and we're here for encouragement, and we're here for empowerment, but that's not the requirement that I'm referencing. Now, don't log off, because you did receive some motivation and encouragement from Portia and from Henry, and I do plan to continue to give you some motivation and encouragement, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's not the requirement that I'm talking about. The requirement that I'm speaking of has nothing to do with motivation or encouragement or empowerment. What I'm talking about, the requirement that I'm speaking of, is two simple words. And that requirement is, in order to be able to move forward towards achieving our dreams and our goals, we have to be willing and able to outwork. Outwork. Now, I might have lost some of you when I said outwork, because normally the human mind, we automatically think when someone says outwork, some of us, all of us, the majority of us immediately think outworking someone else. outworking other people, outworking the so-called competition. But I am actually referring to none of that. I am referring to being able to outwork one's self. That's what I'm referring to. Being able to outwork one's self. That is the most important requirement. You have to be able to outwork yourself. And we're going to, if we're going to refer to competition, the only competition there should ever be in any of our lives, unless you're an athlete or a chess player, is the competition of the one looking you in your eyes from the mirror each and every morning. The competition, that is it. That's the only competition. Or that face you see when it's time to take that selfie. That is the only competition. You must outwork you. I'm not trying to outwork you, and you're not trying to outwork me. If I'm getting with you or you're getting with me, that is a collaboration, not the competition. Because if you compete with the people around you and you're always trying to, oh, I got to be better than her, or I got to be better than him, guess what? You are going to be where you are right now until you realize that you are the only person you need to be competing with. You and I both must be willing to outwork those thoughts that we aren't good enough, which plague our mind. Those urges to procrastinate when our favorite show comes on television, or now that outside has officially opened back up and they're saying you can take off your mask, when that invitation to hit the town for drinks or happy hour is extended, we have to be disciplined enough to say, thanks, but I really need to work on this project. And then there's that lie we tell ourselves that things have to be perfect. I'm going to share a story with you. I remember finding out I was going to be a dad. And more significantly, I remember finding out I was going to be a dad to a son. And to me, even more significantly than that, I found out I was going to be a dad to a Black son. And I know many people believe most men would jump up and down shouting hooray when they're told it's a boy. We see it on social media, gender reveals all the time. But during all of the social injustice and all of the civil unrest, my wife was going to give birth to a Black boy. And I was going to be that Black boy's daddy. Now, I already have a little baby, a little girl who I absolutely love limitlessly. But now more stress is being added to my already filled plate of anxiety, of being a husband to a Black woman when Black women are disrespected at an unprecedented rate, of raising a little Black girl who will one day become a Black woman when Black women are being disrespected at an unprecedented rate. Now I have to, or not have to, sorry, but now I'm going to be a father to a Black boy who will one day grow into a Black man who roams this earth. So what did I do? What did I do? I began to compete with myself. I began to say, I don't know how to raise a Black boy. Where's the manual? Somebody give it to me. They forgot it at the hospital. I won't know what to teach him. I'm not good enough to be his daddy. Am I really worthy of raising a son? All while actively raising a little Black princess. I was messing myself up. I was Terry defeating Terry. Have you been there? Have you been there? Don't worry. I will wait. Have you been there where you were you defeating you? You win with you, you defeat you. That is when we get again into that whole thing of competition or collaboration. I didn't think I was good enough to raise a little black boy. I was Terry defeating Terry. Then one night, while my wife and daughter were asleep, and I'm assuming my unborn son was asleep too because my wife was asleep, I literally sat on the couch in our living room and I cried. I cried because of what they were doing to black men, black boys, and women in broad daylight on what seemed to be every single day and continuously getting away with it. I cried because I was afraid that I could mess him up completely if I wasn't tough enough or lovingly enough. Or sorry, lovingly is not a word. Loving enough. That's why I cried. Hypocritical, right? Because being too tough in regards to my daughter, oh, that never crossed my mind. My anchors were my thoughts. They hadn't just restricted my movement, they were beginning to make me sink. Then the day came when he was born. I call my son Smiles because he's always smiling and I love it. And I remember trying to figure out like, what should his name be? And or not his name, but his nickname be. And yep, Smiles came out. And I was like, yep, that's the name. And he's proven, that to be the name since the day he was born. So the day came when he was born, and I remember as if it were yesterday. My wife asked me, babe, you want to hold him? I said, yes. So I hurried up and took off my shirt because that skin to skin contact isn't just for moms. Dads, our babies need to feel us and hear our heartbeats as well from the beginning. But I remember holding Smiles while wrapped snug in his blanket, his eyes closed when my wife handed him to me. And then as I held him close to me, I remember he opened his eyes. He opened his eyes and they were bright and wide, and he looked up at me. He looked at me, his daddy, with such light, and his little lips curled up into a smile. And he was smiling at me. He was smiling at me. And in that moment, I knew that I was good enough. In that moment, I knew that I would be good enough for him. In that moment, I knew that I did not need to be whatever perfect was. I simply needed to be present, to be a good example, to be someone he could look at and be proud to say, that is my daddy. And I knew I needed to get it together. And that moment, I had no more time to procrastinate. I had no more time to feel sorry. I had no more time to think, what if? No, I needed to get it together right away. And I did. And we put so much on this whole perfection thing when there's really so much about us that isn't perfect. Our feet, one of them is bigger than the other. Our eyeballs, one of them is larger than the other. The houses we live in, the foundation, while it's sturdy, is not perfect. The car we drive, while it might be a nice ride, it's not perfect. But our feet help us to run the race. Our eyes help us to see the vision. Our homes provide shelter and help us stay safe and warm. That car gets us speedily from point A to B. So it's okay that they're not perfect because they're good at doing their part. So as I get ready to close, I'd advise you to throw that thought of needing to be perfect away. Don't let that hinder you. That thought alone kills too many dreams. Instead of feeling or thinking something needs to be perfect, make it great. Then continue to nurture it. Continue to work on it. Continue to help it evolve and adapt to the times so that it remains relevant. But don't keep it tucked away, waiting for it to be perfect. When you wake up in the morning, you must command your day. Your day will be as good or as bad as you want it to be. So from now on, when you wake up in the morning and you're ready to command your day, and maybe you're like, Terry, I don't know how to command my day. Here's how. You just say these words. Today, I'm going to win. Today is going to be my day. And should something go wrong during the course of the day? Should everything not go as planned? No, that doesn't mean you lost the day or that you didn't own the day or that the day wasn't yours. It simply means everything didn't go according to plan. And that is okay. Because if we begin to apply those positive thoughts, those positive affirmations, if we get those core values, like Henry said, if we get the savage growth mindset, like Portia talked about, and we apply that positive energy to our every single day, each and every morning of our lives, from the moment we open our eyes in the morning, I promise you, it won't be this time next year, but this time next month, that you'll be able to look in the rearview mirror of your life and you'll be able to see just how far your life has been propelled, not backwards, but forward. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Terry Glenn Harris, and I am so grateful. I'm so thankful to you for your time. I'm so thankful that you are here. I pray that you received something out of this evening's summit, and that when this thing hits your area, when we have the next one, because I am declaring that this is going to be something that continues to happen, and we're going to start being in person with it. I pray that you're able to come out and that you're able to join us. But what I want to do right now, I want to bring my fellow speakers back to the stage and thank y'all. I see y'all comments. I appreciate each and every one of you. I want to bring my fellow speakers back to the stage just so we can give one last word to you, quick words, and then we are going to let you all go.
Good job.
Yes.
Thank you, Henry, Portia. So, if you could just, a few words, 2 or 3 words, or a sentence to our audience as we close out, and then we will go ahead and let them all go. I will start with you, Portia.
Yeah, so I just want to leave the audience with that one question. What is your appetite? What is your appetite for success? Yeah. What is your appetite to be consistent? Because change, that's the one thing that is always constant. And so we have to always be ready whenever that moment in our lives presents itself. So know that when it happens, be unapologetically savage. Use that savage mindset model, and it'll take you far. Thank you so much.
Henry?
Absolutely. It's just going to be this. I think we all talked about, it's all about self. Be self-aware. You're not in competition with anybody else. Just be deliberate, and then just change your perspective to something positive. That's all. There's so much negativity in the world. If you are able to be deliberate with your actions and then change your perspective to have positive thoughts, everything else is limitless.
Absolutely. I'm just going to leave you with your rearview mirror is smaller than the windshield for a reason. Do not look back at your what ifs, or do not allow people to tell you what you're not good enough to do. Do not allow yourself, as I did, to tell you that you're not good enough. Wake up in the morning, command your day, speak positivity, speak life over your day, over your dreams, over your goals, over your family. And like I said, you will be propelled forward and not backwards.
Yeah.
So on behalf of life coach Portia Edwards, U.S. Air Force Second Lieutenant Henry Edwards III, and myself, Thrive Coach Terry Glenn Harris, we thank you. We love you. God bless you. And good night.
Godspeed.